Cape Town Mayor Patricia de Lille has announced the city's commitment to divest from fossil fuel assets in favor of more sustainable investments, joining cities around the world in withdrawing funds from destructive coal, oil and gas industries. This announcement comes after months of campaigning from local NGO, Fossil Free South Africa and 350.org, who targeted Cape Town during Global Divestment Mobilisation in May. Divestment is the opposite of investing. The movement has become increasingly popular globally as it provides a powerful tool in stigmatizing the fossil fuel industry's power over our political and economic systems. To date, global commitments have reached over 700 institutes across the world. Our journalist Edna Cangolo recently attended an event celebrating the city's bold step in saying no to fossil fuels.
Hello, this is Edna Cangolo, Fall City, and today we're outside the Cape Town Civic Centre with 350 Africa and Fossil Free South Africa in celebration of the City of Cape Town's commitment in divesting from fossil fuel. Today with us we have David and Ahmad. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much. We're celebrating a huge milestone here today, which is that Cape Town has decided that it will no longer and will not in future invest in fossil fuels, oil, gas and coal. And it's the first city in Africa to make this commitment of divestment. It's the first city in a developing country to make this commitment. There are many other cities that have already done so, cities in the United States and Australia and Europe that have done this. But Cape Town is the first city in Africa and in a developing country to make this commitment to divestment. So it's a huge step. We can be very proud of that.
So divesting in fossil fuels is taking money out of oil, coal and gas companies, and what it means is we are trying to break down the social license of the fossil fuel industry and trying to encourage cities and individuals to embrace going for solutions and supporting the solutions to climate change, or to fossil fuels, yeah.
So as Fossil Free South Africa, we started a very basic campaign 3 or 4 years ago, particularly trying to encourage the University of Cape Town to stop investing in fossil fuels. The University of Cape Town does a lot of research on climate change. You wouldn't think they'd also be invested in making money from the problem, but like so many institutions in our society, they are. So we've been working on this campaign for 3 or 4 years now, and started our engagement with the City of Cape Town in about October 2016, and we're very pleased to see that the City of Cape Town has decided so quickly to take the step of committing not to invest in fossil fuels in future.
And have any other provinces divested that you know of?
There are no other cities or provinces or institutions that have divested in. There are only 2 institutions in South Africa that have made a commitment to divest, and that's the Anglican Church and the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation.
South Africans are quite lucky because we have like great wind and solar potential, and the technologies over the last 10 years have gotten a lot better in terms of storage. The storage capacities, capabilities are there, and I mean, what we're able to do now is actually store this energy that that can actually compete with fossil fuels. It's also becoming increasingly cheaper and more economical to go renewable than to actually go underground and extract fossil fuels. Extraction is becoming more expensive, and it makes economic but also environmental sense to go renewable.
In South Africa, our electricity prices continue to increase, and we're using more and more coal. We're using huge amounts of coal. In the UK, where they're switching to renewable energy and using less coal than they have for the last 100 years, the electricity prices are starting to stabilize and starting to go down. Companies like Germany are switching to substantial use of renewable energy. I mean, that's probably one of the world's most advanced economies, and they're relying on renewable energy. No less than 48 developing countries have now made commitments to 100% renewable energy. So there's no question that it can be a completely reliable source of energy for the future. More reliable than a coal power station managed by Eskom, frankly. In a rational world, we would have a government which completely addressed and took care of the issue of climate change and made appropriate regulations to stop people using fossil fuels as they should. Unfortunately, we don't live in that rational world. And there are enormous pressures on people to continue using fossil fuels when we don't want to continue using fossil fuels. But one of the ways we can vote with our money is by using the tool of divestment to say to society as a whole, we no longer want the influence of fossil fuels in our society.
And how can the public get involved in this campaign?
The public can the public can visit our website. The movement is growing in South Africa. There's Fossil Free South Africa, there's 350 Africa. There are a lot of organizations, community-based organizations that are working towards fighting the fossil fuel industry. The public can definitely go onto the different websites, but also look at their communities and see what's happening in their communities. There are many communities that have like small sustainability projects that they are running. So the public can get involved on a community level, but on a national level can get involved with Fossil Free South Africa, with 350.org globally, and also here in Africa.
Can I add to that? I mean, people really need to start asking where their savings and pensions are invested. If your savings and pensions are invested in fossil fuel infrastructure that will be made illegal under regulations coming up in the future, or that will become redundant technology because of new wind and solar technology, then your pensions and savings are at risk. So if you're part of a company pension fund, you need to be asking why that fund is still investing in companies like Sasol. If you're part of a church, you need to be asking whether the collective savings and investments of that church body are invested in fossil fuels, and what the effect is for that of those investments are on human suffering. If you're at a university, you can start a campus divestment campaign. So wherever you are, because fossil fuels and their financing is so embedded in our society, almost anybody can become involved. So come to our websites, ask questions, and take it from there.
Whatever it takes, we have to stop coal.
The
Global Divestment Mobilisation is working to push local and global financial systems away from investing in climate disaster and instead supporting a renewable future. People can join the movement and can remove any credibility from those furthering destruction.
We can win!